This is Gary Atensi with CNTV, and today we're in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I'm here with Peak Structural Incorporated. Since 2002, they have been your foundation and crawl space experts. I'm here with Paul Sutton, who is the founder, president. Thanks so much for joining us, Paul. Let's start off a little bit about yourself. I mean, really, you've got over 2 decades of experience in construction. This began for you, this career, back when you were in college. You're second generation. Your family's been doing this for some time. Share with me a little bit how you got involved in this type of industry.
Well, my background prior to starting this company in 2002, Gary, was general contracting, building, remodeling, renovation work. And through many years in that industry, I began to see that there was a need for somebody to come into this niche industry we call foundation repair, crawl space, waterproofing, kind of a micro industry within the broader construction industry, that there was a real need for a higher level of service to the community, that there were people out there that could do work similar to what we do, but that in general, people weren't being wowed. People weren't feeling like, I've really received a great value for my money. And so we decided 13, 14 years ago that we were going to shift our business from a general contracting focus to a very specific service within this area of foundation repair. And so that's how we got started.
Interesting. I mean, quite honestly, our house is probably one of the biggest investments most of our consumers make in a lifetime. And like they say, you're only as good as your foundation. Obviously, the foundation, it all begins there, yet this is something that can give away. And share with me a little bit about some of the homes that you're able to service.
Well, we've worked on everything from historic properties in the downtown Denver district and some of those older properties that date back to post-Civil War, on up to, surprisingly, homes built as recently as the 2000s. Wow. that have had structural problems going on since very early in their age.
I mean, this is a problem that it kind of begins as an eyesore possibly, or maybe possibly a nuisance, but if left unchecked, it can become a nightmare. It can be something really scary for homeowners out there. How important is we take a proactive approach and take care of it on the front end?
Well, there's no question that these problems don't fix themselves. There's no such thing as a foundation crack or a structural problem that once begun has ever mended itself or sealed back up or corrected the displacement. So if folks are aware or suspect that there may be some type of shifting going on in their home or property, they're able to contact us, and we can send a qualified inspector out to do a free structural evaluation and assessment. If it's not broke, we're not going to tell you need to fix it. But if there is something going on and we can identify what that is early, it's certainly going to be less investment to take care of a problem today than let it go down the road and go downhill further.
I mean, truly, houses are heavy. And when you combine that with our Colorado climate, I imagine that can be a formula that can create some problems out there for folks. Is that the case?
Well, sure. We know that our climate here, though oftentimes beautiful, at other times we get some rather extreme weather events. We get some torrential downpours, we get some tremendous blizzards and sudden accumulations of precipitation in whatever form, and then we have droughts, so we have a rather extreme fluctuation sometimes of too much water to not enough water, and it's that fluctuation in the soils, in the soil environment around our foundations, that changing, that wetting, that drying, that creates the instability in the soil and the activity, unfortunately, that can cause foundations to not stay put.
Potential structural foundation problems, what should people be looking for? What do they keep their eye out for?
The classic signs, some of the very first things that people notice, of course, would be, if you're getting a crack in your brick, in your stucco, in your sheetrock, diagonal cracks coming off the corners of windows or doors, or windows or doors that are sticking in their frames, that aren't opening or closing properly, or maybe the lock mechanism doesn't line up anymore. Those are some of the more obvious and classic signs of a shifting within the structure as a whole.
I mean, obviously, when your soil can no longer support properly, something's got to give. One of those things we see is leaning, bowing, even buckling foundations. What is the solution there?
Well, there are a number of patented products that we can employ depending on the conditions that we find. There's certainly not a one-size-fits-all or one product-fits-all approach. Each property is carefully evaluated and assessed for a thorough understanding of what's happening with the foundation, and then based on kind of a synergy between our inspectors on the front end, working up an initial design and then having that reviewed by our engineers on the back end, we can confirm that we have the correct and best scope of work and best repair plan for the customer, and then show them the way forward, to get that problem solved.
Many times I would think as a homeowner, I put things like that off because I think I have to do a complete rebuild. I mean, I think it's horrible, but in many cases, are you able to go in and fix without a complete rebuild? Share with me your anchor system and how that's a solution you turn to sometimes.
Our wall anchor system? Sure. You have in structural work, classically, you have really two different dynamics at play, and this is perhaps a bit of an oversimplification, but you have foundation settlement, so we have vertical activity, and then you have horizontal or lateral activity where the soil can push in a foundation wall and bow it in. Well, the anchors, I think, that you're inquiring about are one of the more effective remedies and products that address that lateral bowing of a foundation wall. We can install a series of engineered anchors that will apply a counterforce and ultimately straighten that wall back over time and then prevent it from ever failing or succumbing again to the soil forces that pushed it in at first.
Regardless of the material in the foundation, be it stone or brick or even concrete, each one is a customized approach. You probably have to go in, like you say, do a complete assessment and then find out what is the best. You pretty much work with all types of material, though, regardless of the foundation.
That's very true. Your newer designs, steel reinforced or rebar reinforced poured concrete foundations will tend toward a certain mix of products, whereas if we get into the older brick or stone foundations, there's a lot that we can do for them, but sometimes it takes a little bit different method or a little bit different product, given the fact that we're dealing with an obsolete construction type of material that's just not used anymore, and we have to go about that with some more specialized products.
That's interesting. You guys never know what you're going to find out there. What are some of the things we can do? I mean, we can really keep an eye out as homeowners. We can even measuring the size of the actual crack or looking for water leakage. How often should we do this type of thing?
As we've observed over the years of doing this, Gary, these problems tend to find our customer more than our customer may find the problem. So we all have busy lives and we've got many things going on in our families, our careers, our activities, and these are not top of mind awareness for most people. And but when we see a crack where there's never been a crack before, or we begin to notice that there's a gap or something shifted, or a door or window that used to be fine last fall now this spring is sticking or it won't shut right. Or we find that we have water or moisture in a crawl space, for example, or in a basement, those kinds of things. The problems seem to find us.
They do. So these are the type of things that you keep your eye out, but quite honestly, you're going to see some of these things when they get serious. I mean, not only our foundation, but many times we're talking about the beams and the actual columns inside. Share with me what the SmartJack solution is, something that you thought is good fit for many homes here in Colorado.
Sure, happy to. The SmartJacks are a fantastic product. They are an engineered steel column with an adjustable threaded insert at the top. And as opposed to some of the old methods builders used to use where they would put stacks of concrete blocks in the crawl space to hold the beams up, or 2x lumber or old car jacks in some cases, we find it's crazy what you find in crawl spaces holding up the structure. The SmartJack is an engineered product. It's engineered to do just that. And the great thing about the adjustment feature in it is that if the soil over time beneath the SmartJack does shift or contract or pull back, product will allow for an adjustment so that we can adapt to that change in the soil and that we don't have more structural problems simply by virtue of the fact that the soil environment changed but we had a fixed object there that we couldn't do anything about. The SmartJack is adaptable for the dynamic soils environment here in Colorado.
Hence the name Smart. I mean, really, you can go in and adjust with the environment. Some of the places, I mean, some homes out there, they have crawl spaces in them where you've got wooden floors. Some of them have actually maybe a concrete foundation. Share with us what the Polylevel is and how that helps with concrete.
Polylevel is a product we're really excited about. It consists of a two-part polyurethane foam product that is mixed under pressure and injected under a concrete slab. And as the two parts mix, chemical reaction occurs, the foam expands, and we can lift the slab back to a flatter, more level condition.
Interesting. So you're talking about injecting into the dry concrete, so we're not talking wet concrete, but dry.
Correct, yeah, it's injected underneath of a slab. So typically, people would call us when their driveway is getting wonky or the front steps are settling and pulling away from the level that they should be at. Any type of concrete surface where there's been a contraction or a settling or displacement of the concrete. I mean, that can create trip hazards, that can create ponding water, which is not good to have on your concrete. You know, of course, it's unsightly. It's an eyesore. It doesn't look very pleasing when your driveway has got panels that are at different levels and whatnot. So with Polylevel, we can inject the foam product underneath the existing concrete slab. We can bring those settled panels in the concrete back up to a flatter, more level condition.
Wonderful. I mean, quite honestly, you're able to service folks here in Colorado Springs, into Denver, even different parts of the state. Is it best for folks who live in those areas to just go to the website and find out what types of services you're able to provide there?
It really is. Everyone's so accustomed, I think, these days to using those types of portals to access products and services. Our website is very simply peakstructural.com. Easy to find out there. And through that website, we can be reached to set up an appointment and send out an inspector.
Speaking of the website, viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. You're going to see their website information. First of all, you can take a little bit of history of the company. This is a company that began as a general contractor over 2 decades of experience. You can also take a look there at the testimonials they have. Many folks they've helped. It can be a scary situation when you see your foundation of your home going, but really it's just as simple as a phone call. They can come out, have an assessment done for you, and write up an estimate what it may be. And remember, not all the time are we having to do a rebuild. They can go in and actually cut your costs down quite a bit compared to some of the older alternative methods they had out there as well. Real simple. You can click and set up an appointment right there online. This is a Better Business Bureau company, and they've been around since 2012. Let me ask you this, Ron. We speak a lot about like residential homes and that type of thing. What about commercial structures? Are you able to go out and help those as well?
Absolutely. We've done some fairly large projects on apartment complexes, nursing homes, churches. We're licensed at the commercial level in the various building jurisdictions here in the Front Range, and so we do service commercial customers as well.
Wonderful. I imagine one of the times you really want to know if there's a problem in the foundation is when you're possibly buying a home or even selling the home. Share with us what your real estate program is out there for folks.
Sure. In our prep program, we offer a quick turnaround inspection service to our customers or prospective customers, those that are involved in a pending real estate transaction. Perhaps the general home inspection has turned up a question or a concern where the home inspector feels like, hey, there might be something going on with the foundation. We recommend you bring in a structural expert for further analysis. So folks call us, and for a modest fee, we're able to send an inspector out. And if we find anything, we can provide a quote typically within 24 hours. So the program is fee-based because we're responding quickly when needed, and we're able to help people in some respects to guide them to make their best decisions in real estate transactions.
It's a quick in and out program because folks are usually in a hurry when it comes to that type of situation. Obviously, your foundation can affect the value of your home. Really can cut into your equity. Is this a warranty that you provide that really stays with the home?
Oh, exactly, exactly. We've seen, and we hear from our partners in the real estate industry that you can experience a 10, 20, 30% depreciation in some cases on a home that is put to market with a known structural issue. And when you contrast those kinds of steep discounting to what the average cost of a repair is, you find that through a proper engineered repair, backed up by a warranty, which, as you allude to, stays with the home, is transferable to future homeowners. Well, then you have a situation where the person selling the home can recapture their equity and go to closing and receive the full value of their home as opposed to having to discount it because it's seen as a problem property that not many people are interested in.
You've seen some different climates from Texas to Nebraska. You've lived a few places. You're now in Colorado. You're an outdoorsman yourself. Is it kind of nice to be able to help folks, your neighbors here, really keep the equity and the value in their home by making sure that foundation is holding up their home?
Absolutely. We feel like we're a part of the communities that we serve, and we feel like that if our company is to sustain and thrive and service the communities for decades to come, there are many things that we've got to be doing right, and treating other people, treating our employees, our customers like we would want to be treated, is one of those things. We feel like providing the highest level of customer service available to our customers, that's what will not only put a big smile on their face, but ensure that we are around for decades to come to take care of their needs.
Decades to come. Folks, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. You're going to see their contact information one more time. Phone numbers right there on the bottom of the screen as well. If you're not sure which one of the services are provided in your area, take a look at the website. It's very clear right there. And if you're not sure, give them a call. They can walk you through the different areas as well. And keep in mind, this is a company that began back in 2002. That is Peak Structural. Once again, don't let the beauty or the equity of your home be at stake because of your foundation. You need to call in the foundation and crawl space experts. This is Gary Atensu with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.